Well, hello everyone, and today I guess is a big day for Canada and the U.S., and I look forward to speaking to the Prime Minister, and all the premiers do, after the meeting with President Trump. But there has to be a point that if Prime Minister Carney can't get a deal, we have to start hitting back. We need to hit back hard. We can't continuously decline tariffs, and President Trump increases tariffs, no matter if it's 10% on our lumber industry, softwood lumber, or if it's 25% on furniture or cabinets. I visit a lot of furniture companies and cabinet manufacturers, and I know one thing: we buy a tremendous amount of furniture off the U.S. and as well as cabinets, but we also ship cabinets down to the U.S. But we can't just keep rolling over to President Trump. As he strengthens his case, we seem to be weakening our case by continuously pulling off tariffs. I'd take a different approach. Try to get a deal. If you can't, we got to hit him back hard, and never stop hitting him back hard, because we can never take a back seat to anyone, especially President Trump. We have a great country, resilient country, a powerful economically, we're powerful. The U.S. exports more products to Canada than anywhere in the entire world. And it sounds great with the Americans until they start seeing inflation. We've seen inflation down in the U.S. I just came back from a meeting in Quebec with two governors. They're seeing inflation. We're seeing it in sectors. The auto sector, you know, they're going to see an increase of over $107 billion. Other companies are seeing it. John Deere, they're laying over 280 people off because of tariffs. We're seeing it across every single sector. So it's time to sit down, let's get a deal, or let's start hitting back.
Premier, are you advocating the approach that Prime Minister Trudeau had more than the approach that Prime Minister Carney had? Trudeau, of course, imposed counter tariffs, and it didn't work. But you think we should go back to the Trudeau approach?
Well, I think we take an approach that let's get a deal. If the Americans want to see inflation stop, you make a deal with Canada. You want to see the economy grow, make a deal with Canada. That's what we need to do, because it will hurt both countries if we don't. But you sure don't sit back and get beat up by a bully every single day. It's like a kid going to the schoolyard and getting punched in the face every day. It's time to hit back if he can't get a deal. Maybe Prime Minister Carney knows something I don't know. And if that's the case, he should sit down with the premiers and explain that. That's what he needs to do.
Cut off the power back on the table.
And then you pulled those off the table.
That's right.
Are you willing to do that? Is Ontario going to hit back?
Well, what we need to do is use that energy to be more competitive. If he wants to shut down every single industry, President Trump, we're going to need the energy. We're giving the U.S. energy at an extremely low cost. We're keeping 1.5 million lights on and businesses open in New York and Michigan and Minnesota, and I know other provinces are doing the same thing. Let's start giving it to our manufacturers. They work a night shift, off hours, off peak hours. Maybe they want to shift some manufacturing and get their electricity at a much lower cost. I'd rather support our Ontario manufacturers than support our neighbors south of the border that are competing against us, and President Trump constantly attacking our economy, attacking our people.
Premier, on your letter to mayors today on speed cameras,
yes,
they were calling for the cameras to be tweaked so they only ticket those egregiously speeding, and for the cameras to only operate during school hours. What's so unreasonable about that?
What's unreasonable is a total cash grab, and we know speed cameras do not work. Simple as that. I have an idea that we're putting forward that we're going to put traffic calming infrastructure, and that will bring it down to zero. Folks, Toronto has one speed camera that produced over 70,000 tickets and millions of dollars of income. Now, wouldn't you think, rather than sit there and collect all the money, because it is a cash grab off the taxpayers, Wouldn't you think someone would come up with common sense and say, okay, we're putting speed bumps on Parkside Drive, we're putting turnabouts. You just take a drive through Forest Hill, there's no speed cameras. I'll tell you the reason why. Every street you go down, no matter if it's a crosswalk, it's raised or speed bumps. So they don't have a problem with speeding. If you want to continue making it a cash grab and not looking at alternatives, we have an alternative to put infrastructure in. But folks, they don't want to do that. They want to continue to collect hundreds of millions of dollars and continue speeding. Let speeding happen. They aren't worried about the safety of people. If they were, they'd start installing infrastructure, traffic calming infrastructure.
Cash grab to tweak the camera so they're catching someone going 20 or 30.
Richard, it's still a cash grab. So what you're saying, so what you folks are saying, let's just let the people continue speeding and let's not do anything to actually slow them down. It doesn't make sense at all.
So I'm sure they do
What
work.
A vehicle assigned to one of your cabinet ministers was recorded
Yep.
stunt driving 12 times.
Yeah.
We understand that person still works for your government. Why?
Well, speeding's unacceptable no matter who it is, and they're paying it out of their own pocket. Again, I'm going to repeat it, it's unacceptable. But I'll tell you one thing, if we put infrastructure in, no one's going to be speeding. It's simple as this. This is like a no-brainer. I can't even believe we're even having this conversation. I have one solution that's going to eliminate speeding, and the other solution is let's have a cash grab. Let's continue getting cash off taxpayers instead of a real solution. They don't want to do it, and I'll tell you the reason they don't want to do it. So they have processing facilities. One in Brampton, one in York Region, one in Newmarket, one in Toronto. And every ticket, they're collecting on top of the ticket, they're collecting $20 per ticket. And as for the infrastructure, they've cut deals with these camera companies, and some in the US, some in Canada, and they're paying to install them. And we're going to indemnify all the communities that are doing it. Now, folks, there's 444 municipalities. 407 are saying, we don't want speed cameras. We'll put infrastructure in to slow people down. And then there's 37 greedy communities and cities and towns that want the cash grab. This is, again, a no-brainer. I'm putting a solution forward. All their solution is continue letting people speed and collect cash off them. That's nothing more than a cash grab.
The instance I'm describing, the government vehicle was going 162 kilometers an hour on a highway. They still, as far as we know, work for your government. You say there are punishments, you say people face consequences, you're against speeding. What's the consequence in this situation? What are you doing that shows you are against speeding?
Again, it's unacceptable. I'll repeat that. There's many people speeding out there, and it's unacceptable. I do not condone speeding with anyone. But it goes back, if I put infrastructure in with the support of the municipalities, and God knows they've collected hundreds of millions, no infrastructure whatsoever. They're just pocketing the cash. I guarantee you, no one will be speeding, 100%. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yes.
Like things are coming to a head today. The company has said that they might have to euthanize the whales if they don't get some more money from the federal government to help care for them. Are you going to do anything about that situation?
Well, again, this is marine land is privately owned. Now the federal government declined a permit to move them and allow these whales to live a better life. And I would recommend to the federal government, reverse your decision and let's find a home that would be great for the whales.
But I don't think there are any existing homes that could take them other than the one in China. So what is the solution here? Can the government step in here and seize them or do something?
Well, we have our inspectors that go in and inspect the whales all the time. It was the federal government that allowed them to bring these whales here. It should be the federal government that allows them to move them to China or other marine areas that will take them. But saying no to everything and not coming up with a solution, not a great suggestion.
Actual legislation instead of the directives we have in place right now to buy Canadian, buy Ontario. Do you have any specifics on that? Is this coming next fall? When is that?
We will be putting legislation in October that we are requiring municipalities and the provincial government, and I understand the federal government's doing the same, that when possible, I always say when possible, certain widgets can't be made, but when possible, let's buy Ontario-made vehicles throughout the municipalities, no matter if it's fire trucks or any other vehicles, personal vehicles. We need to buy them off Ontario-made companies. So anything that's made here in Ontario, when possible, let's do that. And the people have a lot of power here. When you're going shopping, look at the Ontario-made or Canadian-made products that you buy. Put pressure on the big 5 retailers not to outsource their food, which is happening, by the way, and products. Let's manufacture here. Let's start bringing on Ontario companies to be a supplier to the big 5 retailers.
Premier, do you have any update on the Eglinton Crosstown LRT? We were told by Mr. Lindsay the revenue demonstration test was to begin last week. It hasn't. Do you have any update on that, sir?
Well, I understand that they're doing the testing with the TTC, and over the next few weeks they'll be up and going along with Fench. We're making great progress on Eglinton West and on the Scarborough subway system, and along with Yonge North, we're going to be moving forward with that. And the Ontario line too, which is a crown jewel. It's going forward very well right now.
Premier, on skills development, do you have any concerns about favoritism? Like, it looks like there's some favoritism going on there. Some of the groups that got the money.
Well,
Lobbyists
well, thank you. Skills development is fun, is one of the best programs we've ever put together. It's created over 700,000 opportunities for people to teach them a trade, no matter if it's healthcare or manufacturing or in the skills trade themselves. And this has changed people's lives. So we're going to focus on that. We're going to continue moving forward. I understand the federal government wants to do the same thing. I love their participation because, again, it gives someone a trade or a skill that they never had before. It'll be a job for life, and that's what we're focusing on. We want to bring it from over 700,000 over 1 million people that have been trained.
The federal government actually said that they're concerned and want to look into to make sure that the $1 billion a year they send to Ontario to fund all this stuff, this isn't even your money, it's federal.
Well,
that it's being spent properly. Are you concerned about their comments about that?
Well, as much as I'm concerned, the $12 billion that we send to the federal government, but in saying that, it's our money, it's on our budget, it's on our books, and we look forward to them joining the program to make sure that we have more skilled trade people, helping people with a disability, with a disability that have never been able to get a job. Now they have a trade that they can go out there and get a job and feel great about themselves and bring home a paycheck every single week that otherwise they wouldn't be able to do.
Why are lobbyists still allowed to be involved? One of the lobbyists, advises you quite frequently, presents to caucus, presents to cabinet, made the decision on when the election should be. Why is it that Corey Tenay's firm, as an example, was allowed to lobby and gain about $100 million in terms of that skills development fund?
Well, I can't answer what they make or what they don't make. I can tell you every organization, some of the largest corporations, governments, municipalities, they have lobbyists. What we make a decision on what's best for the people. And when we can get out there and train 700,000 people and give them a trade for life or help the healthcare system or manufacturing, that's what we're going to focus on. And we're going to continue. And we're going to continue moving forward. The NDP have no solutions. All they believe in is taxing people. That's what they believe in. And it's ironic, the NDP, when they have the private sector union, sending them over opportunities and funding through commercials and everything else, that's the pot calling the kettle black. We're pro-business government, making sure that we employ people. That's our key area of focus right now, to create more jobs, more opportunities for the people of Ontario. Hold on, you had a question, bear with me.
Minister has made it very clear that the welfare of those belugas is the province's essential. So what is the province going to do to ensure that those whales are not euthanized?
Well, we have our inspectors going in there. Again, it's a privately held company. But I find it ironic, the federal government saying we aren't issuing any permits, but it's your problem. Okay, something doesn't sound right there. Either they issue a permit and we end up finding a home for them, or they don't issue a permit and they can come up with a solution because they're the ones who issued the permit to have these whales in the first place. And that's unacceptable. I feel terrible for the whales. I really do. And saying that, they need to step up and maybe sit down and talk to us and say, here's a solution. That's what they need to do. They brought them in, but they don't want to take them out.
Last question.
Why is your government directing school board committees to no longer live stream their meetings? Are you blocking access to information for parents?
No, I haven't heard that yet, but I'll look into that. Any other questions?
Any new conversation with Diageo?
Last one.
No.
Which includes moonshot projects under the special economic zone law. What kind of project is a moonshot? What exactly is that? Is it the zone under the 401?
Moonshot?
Moonshot project, yes.
Yeah, I'd have to look into the moonshot.
Talk to Diageo.
There's a lot of,
Talk to Diageo,
yeah,
right?
one more. Yeah, no, I haven't talked to Diageo, but the good news is we have 3 companies that are very interested in their facility, buying their facility, taking on their employees. So it'd be great news if we could land one of these companies to take it over. But as sure as I'm sitting here, that Crown Royal is coming off those shelves the second the last person walks out of the area.
Last question.
I'm sorry.
Howard Lutnick's going to be in town tomorrow. Do you have a meeting with him?
No, I thought he was going online for the meeting, but he speaks, and then I'll speak right after him. My message is very clear to Howard Lutnick. You know, this is not going to work. I got an idea, Howard. Look up Ronald Reagan. Take a look at what he said about tariffs. What it does, it increases inflation, which is happening in the U.S. and Canada. And at the end of the day, people start losing their jobs. So why don't we partner together and come up with a solution and stop attacking Canadians?
You've been calling for retaliation for a while now. Yet the Prime Minister has not taken you up on that offer. Do you feel like your influence with the Prime Minister is waning?
Well, that's up to the Prime Minister. He's the Prime Minister. He's going to wear it. At the end of the day, if he can't get a deal and we're getting hurt and we aren't retaliating, then he's going to have to answer the Canadian people. I have a solution. My solution is every time they hit us, we hit them back. Or we just keep getting rolled over and rolled over. They have to feel the pain. The Americans have to feel the pain. And then you'll get a reaction from President Trump. But again, if you just let a bully just run over you constantly and you don't hit back, we'll be sitting here with no jobs. The Americans will have the jobs. And maybe the Prime Minister will sit back and think, what the heck did I do? I'm just telling you what I would do. I would hit back against President Trump when he's going after the sectors like the cabinet manufacturers, furniture manufacturers, our great lumber industry that we ship 30% down to the U.S. And guess what? The Americans are going to pay the price. The costs are going up. Very early that he did it, and it did hurt the American economy. And we can't sit back. We have 2 choices, folks. You sit back and let Trump run the country, roll us over, and we bow down to the guy. That's not what Doug Ford believes. We sit there and fight like we've never fought before. We make sure that we have the most competitive environment in the entire world to attract more companies that we're doing here in Ontario. That's what the federal government needs to focus on. Reduce corporate taxes, reduce personal taxes, put money into people's pockets, stir the economy, cut the red tape, cut the regulations. That's what they need to do. We're willing to work with them. But thank you, everyone.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, everyone.